Alright, welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the role of hormones and how it plays with your metabolism. What is the role of hormones in your metabolism? So if you're interested in learning anything about your hormones and your metabolism, stick around. Okay, cool. So hormones are pretty important. I want to actually leverage the AI to give us what their understanding is, and I want to go ahead and correct it or enhance what they're saying, right? So let's take a look. And I asked basically a simple question. What are the roles of hormones in metabolism, right? We're going to keep it very basic so that we can train the AI to really get more specific about that information. What do they say? Hormones play a crucial role in regulating metabolism, the process by which the body converts food into energy. Several hormones are involved in metabolism, including 1. Insulin. This hormone is produced by the pancreas and regulates the metabolism of carbohydrates by stimulating the uptake of glucose into cells. 2. Thyroid hormones, thyroxine, T4, and triiodothyronine, T3, are produced by the thyroid gland and regulate the body's overall metabolic rate by increasing the number of calories burned. All right, number 3, glucagon. This hormone, also produced by the pancreas, raises blood sugar levels by stimulating the liver to convert stored glycogen into glucose. And then number 4, catecholamines, such as adrenaline and noradrenaline, are produced by the adrenal glands and act as signaling molecules to increase metabolic rate. Okay, number 5, leptin. Leptin, this hormone is produced by fat cells and regulates energy balance by suppressing appetite and increasing energy expenditure. All right, number 6, ghrelin. Ghrelin. This hormone is produced by the stomach and signals the brain to increase hunger and promote intake. Okay, so remember though, all these molecules and hormones work together to keep the body's metabolism in balance and ensure that the right amount of energy is available for the body's needs. The hormones are also regulated by other hormones and signals from the body, such as the level of nutrients in the blood and the energies and the body's energy stores. Okay, so what does this really mean, right? So they're telling us 6 different hormones that sort of impact your metabolism, and we know the normal culprits, right? We know insulin, we know glucagon. Many people probably don't know about the thyroid hormones, but it's definitely in there as well. But the 2 that I really focus on in the feed and fast aspect of metabolism is ghrelin and leptin. These 2 are super vital in the satiety nature. Like, are you hungry or are you full? Are you hungry or are you full? That's all we care about, because what we want to make sure is that you feel full when you eat that 1 meal a day, right? Or you eat that whatever meal. You don't want to keep thinking, oh, I need to keep eating more and more. And that's usually what happens when you eat ultra processed foods. When you eat ultra processed foods, you're continuously feeling hungry because, again, it goes straight into your body, becomes energy, you feel spazzed out, you feel tired because you get a crash, and then you're hungry again. And this is the nature of fast foods, anything packaged. And the way I like to describe it is, if it has multiple packaging, then it's bad for you. So always remember that. Now, in the context of metabolism, right, we haven't set the baseline understanding yet. We gave you the hormones for metabolism, how it impacts it, but really understand what metabolism is again, how does your body use fuel for energy? How does your body take the fuel in your mouth and then convert it into energetic sources that your cells can actually use, your tissues, and then your whole body overall? And so the 3 major macros, the 3 major molecules that exist within you that your body's using, and there's like quadrillions of these things in your body at all given times. Just your chemical makeup, if we were to take the protein, if you were 60% water and the rest 40%, proteins more than likely, and actually from that 40% you're probably 30% protein and 10% misc. 10% could be like other like fats. Well, your brain is technically a good amount. So yeah, I would say there's a good amount of fat in there. So maybe 15% fat and then 15% fat and then 25% protein. Yeah, I'll go with that ratio. And then a little bit of carbs from the glucagon and glycogen in your liver and your muscles and et cetera, et cetera. But my point is these 3 fundamental macros, right? So we have the carbs, proteins, and fats. We want to make sure, what are you doing, right? So if you have a lifestyle where you're consuming a lot of ultra processed food, a lot of carbohydrate rich foods, like anything bready, right? Croissants, bagels, cookies, cupcakes, cakes, in general, all those are bready. Anything sponge-like is also bready. These things just raise your insulin levels, and so as a result of that, why does it raise? Because there's a lot of sugar flooding inside your blood. And so we don't want that, and we want to be very, very clear on it, because like I said, if you don't feel full, one of your hormones, whether it be ghrelin or leptin, will be activated and the other one will be suppressed because of this specific reason. And we don't want to put this out of whack, because again, when you eat food, why are you eating it? You want it for energy, and if you're trying to build muscle, you want to build that muscle as well. But other than that, we don't want to store. We're not living in a famine time right now. We're not in the dark ages where we have to worry about food, where our next meal is going to come from. We have the luxury of going into our phones right now. So these things that you see in my hand, literally, these things that you see, we can leverage these to pretty much automate our life for us, which is why this problem is getting worse and worse, this pandemic of metabolic proportions. Hopefully you like that pun. But that's where we are right now. So we want to make sure that we do that. So now all these hormones that we talked about and how they relate to metabolism, this is just fancy information for you to understand what's actually happening within you. At the end of the day, the actions that you take in front of the table, right? When you put your food in front of the table, you look at this thing and you say, okay, will this serve me or will this harm me? And more than likely it's gonna harm you, but then you have to make that conscious decision, that intentional decision to feed yourself this type of food, knowing the repercussions. Like, I'll be guilty. I'm very, very guilty in the sense that, okay, I get allergic hives whenever I eat shrimp and with crawfish or anything with like the head, the proteins in there. Somehow it creates a reaction, an inflammatory reaction, where I get hives on my skin and my face, especially my face, to be honest. It's so weird. It's like it just blows up. But what do? I still consume it with some antihistamine, with some allergy medications, because it just tastes so good. And I'm sure many of you are doing the same thing. It's like a forbidden thing that you know you shouldn't be doing, but it just makes you feel good. But then that's when sort of we have to think about priorities, right? What are our priorities? If we're trying to play this game with our food, then technically at the end of the day, we're losing all the time. And it's not fun. And we always want to be winning. And so I want to make sure that everyone understands their hormones have a very, very big role to play in their metabolism, but it's really up to you. If your metabolism decisions, the fuel sources that you put in, those decisions are good for you, then automatically your internal state will reflect that. Remember, it's just a reflection. Everything that happens within you is a reaction to what you decide to do. So if your brain is thinking weird and you're doing weird things with your food, then obviously you're gonna have weird effects within your body as well. Okay, great. Hopefully that made sense to you. If you have any questions, definitely write it down in the comments below, and I'll try to get back at you. And then of course, if you found any value, definitely give it a like, subscribe to the channel so you get more updates when it comes out. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.